Chicago, Shana Raven.
Okay. Just to get started, are any of you guys Bulls fans by any chance?
When someone has merch in their hands and they ask you that question, you say yes.
How many of you guys are basketball fans? Okay, that's a start. So we'll start with an easy one. Just got a few trivia questions. How many games does the team play in the NBA regular season? Yeah.
82.
Okay, do you want some Bulls swag?
Yeah, I do.
All right, committed. Does anybody know who the Bulls drafted in the first round this year? Here you go. Yeah.
Kobe White.
Oh, okay, well, I'll split the prize with you guys. Here, you can both get something.
That's a good answer. I don't think they...
Yeah, I love it.
I didn't know that.
All right.
Where's he from?
Kobe White, North Carolina.
Oh.
Just like Jordan. All right, so just to get started, a little bit about me. As Dr. Rishe said, I went to WashU. I graduated with a BSBA in marketing in 2016, and I was one of the first people that was able to get the minor in the business of sports. So obviously that program has come a really long way since then. That's super exciting. Big shout out to Dr. Rishe for all he's been able to do with the program since I graduated. I'm from Chicago. I kind of want to just take you guys through my path to get to where I am, and then at the end of the presentation, after I tell you about my current job, I'll just kind of go through some best practices that I've learned for kind of starting your career in sports. So while I was at WashU, I interned for the Chicago Bears for 2 years. I started as an events and entertainment training camp intern for them, so it was just over the summer working, doing a lot of events down at training camp in Bourbonnais, helping with the activations for kids, things with the mascot, just a lot of just day of activations. From that I started working game days for them, doing a lot of the on-field entertainment. I went and did that for 2 seasons, and then my senior year I kind of finished up my credits, so I did a full-time internship with the St. Louis Sports Commission for my second semester right here in St. Louis. With Will, actually, he's here today. And then when I graduated, I moved up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I was a brand and marketing intern for 2 years. So when I was in Green Bay, I was doing a lot of project management, working with the creative department on a lot of messaging and making graphics for everything that the organization was doing. While I was in Green Bay, I kind of missed working game days since my role didn't entail game stuff going on. So I took a second job in my second season in Green Bay as a live content correspondent for the NFL. So what I was doing there is social media content for the visiting team at every game as well as the NFL, and if the home team needed help, I would help them as well. So with that, I was doing interviews with fans, capturing touchdown celebrations, just photography on the sideline throughout every home Green Bay Packers game. From doing that job, when I finished up my internship with the Packers, I moved out to LA to work for NFL Media as a club social operations coordinator. So for that, I was helping the 32 clubs with strategizing their social media for how to best reach fans and grow their fan base, kind of tailoring their content to each platform. After I finished up my contract position with the NFL, I moved to Chicago, and now I'm a marketing coordinator for the Chicago Bulls. So this is just kind of a big snapshot of what I do every day. So there's a lot of products that the Bulls are promoting at any given time. There's our main marketing campaign, there's different ticket products, there's retail, there's jerseys, there's menu options. My job is to kind of make sure that we're balancing every product in the appropriate way and balancing our paid efforts and our internal assets to get the message across for everybody. So before we can get to that point, we kind of have to go back to the beginning of what the Bulls brand is. So a few years ago, my department took the lead on developing the Bulls brand purpose, which is to inspire and unite people through legendary experiences. So to kind of unpack this a little bit, a few things I want to point out. Because the Bulls are such a global brand, which obviously Jordan in the 90s, people around the world are familiar with the Bulls and love the Bulls. So we have this unique ability to unite people not just in Chicago, but around the world through our team. Because we have this legendary past, we have this opportunity to kind of bring those fans along for the ride as we move into the future. And most importantly, through experiences, we're not just focusing on what's going on the court, we're focusing on what our fans are experiencing when they come to a game, when they interact with us on social media, everything across the board. I want to distinguish for you guys the difference between our mission statement and our brand purpose. So a lot of you guys are probably familiar with mission statements from your classes. You kind of have to do it for maybe some of your case projects. The Chicago Bulls organization is a sports entertainment company dedicated to winning NBA championships, growing new basketball fans, and providing superior entertainment, value, and service. So really, this is just the what. Like, this is what we do at the Chicago Bulls. It's aimed to provide focus for both the front office as well as basketball operations. The difference here with the brand purpose is that's really why we're doing it. So this is just why we exist. It's more than just our mission statement. It's why we're doing these things, to inspire and unite people through legendary experiences. So once we have all of this figured out, it's now time to turn this into our marketing campaign. So I kind of just want to take you back through some of our past campaigns and how it's changed since we created our brand purpose. Love It Live. This is like a pre-internet marketing campaign. The goal then was just to get people to come to games, to buy tickets, to experience the Bulls live action at the United Center. Then we moved into our Chicago basketball era. Again, this is pre-social media still. There's no call to action for our fans to kind of participate in our brand. It's really just saying, we're from Chicago, we play basketball. That's about it. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not really anything that exciting. Our team turned 50 in 2016, so this was kind of our chance to shift over with our brand purpose. So we took that year to focus on the 50 years to kind of celebrate everything we'd accomplished. And now that we have our brand purpose and we're moving into the next era, we developed our With Us campaign. So really, we're uniting people, we're inspiring them, we're kind of bringing them along with us. We're an accessible brand. We don't want people to think just because you're a basketball team, you've been good in the past, that you can't connect with us. So now we have our With Us campaign, and moving into year 3, we've kind of done a brand refresh to make it more fun. You don't want to get the graphics too old with our fans. So with our marketing campaign, we have what we call leader words. So the With Us campaign, as you can see, it goes with Run With Us, which if you're familiar with the Bulls, we have our iconic running of the Bulls intros at every game. So our primary leader word is to run with us, and it really just talks about what's going on in the court. We have Cheer With Us, which is fan appreciation. We have tons of entertainment groups that perform at all our games. They go to all of our events. This is kind of their call to action for our fans. Grow With Us is future focused. We use this a lot in the off season with the draft, with our rookie players, and also with our youth strategy. So we want kids to grow up with us. We want our rookies to grow and develop with us. That's where that one comes in. Finally, we have Inspire With Us, which we use a lot with our charitable efforts with Chicago Bulls Charities, especially during our season of giving, which is around the holiday season. You'll see Inspire on a lot of our messaging. So once we have all this figured out, then it's time to take the marketing campaign out to market. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that looks like, we have billboards, print, radio, TV. Here's an example of one of our TV spots.
Right here, together, we've grown and become a family. On this journey, we share our challenges and our successes. Our bond is not simply on the court, because this is not just a logo. It's a symbol of where we're from and where we're headed. As a city, you've become one with us.
Okay, so that's kind of the brand strategy that we have at the Bulls right now. I also wanted to take a minute to talk you guys through the rest of what our marketing department does, just to kind of give you guys the full picture of how everything ties back to the brand. We have a team in marketing that's dedicated to youth strategy. So for youth, the goal of here is just to grow the next generation of fans. So we know that kids by the age of 2 are brand conscious. That means they know what Cheerios versus Lucky Charms is. They know the difference between Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol. They might not know if they like it, but they can identify it. By first grade, they become loyal to those brands. And the way that happens is by them having positive experiences with the brands. So for us, it's really important that from age 2 to around 6, that they're having that first positive experience with the Bulls that's going to bring them back. Once kids decide what they like, their parents are more likely to invest money, time, energy, resources into making those things happen for their kids. So maybe that's coming to a Bulls game, it's joining our kids club, it's signing up for a camp. Their parents know their kids like it. They're more likely to continue throughout childhood experiencing that. And by the time the kid is able to spend their own money, that's where my team on the brand side comes into play. We have student ticket offers, we have different things that kids can do as they kind of age out of our youth strategy into becoming their own fans separate from their parents. So here's kind of an overview of all of the things we have for kids and adults. flashing throughout this. All of this falls under our larger kind of umbrella brand. It's called Bulls Kid Nation. Underneath that, we have our Kids Club, which has both a free and a paid membership option so that all kids can be a part of it. We have Youth Hoops, which is all of our youth basketball programs. So we have camps throughout the summer, clinics throughout the year. Bulls Kid Nation Entertainment, we have different entertainment groups that perform at the games that are just for kids, both audition only and ones that you can just sign up for. And then we have our family ticket packs, which is a $25 ticket that includes hot dog, chips, and a drink with your ticket. So it makes games a lot more accessible for families to attend. We do combine our youth efforts with Windy City Bulls, which is our G League team. It's in the suburbs of Chicago. It's a lot more affordable to attend those games, so we thought it was important that we share youth strategies since we are trying to reach kids no matter where they live, how much money they have, they can be a part of Bulls Kid Nation. And Chicago Bulls Charities, which is our charitable arm, we also host a lot of camps and clinics with them at different schools throughout the Chicago area, so we always tie in youth hoops to those programs. I also want to talk a little bit about our retail strategy. So retail lives in marketing at the Bulls. Here's an example of what a retail spot would look like for us. The main thing to kind of take away from this, even though this is a retail ad, this is promoting our team store, there's nothing in it that's saying, come buy clothes. Clothes are now 20% off. Nothing about it is just telling you to buy something. We really want to shape retail at the Bulls as more of a lifestyle experience. We see ourselves not just as a basketball brand, as a clothing brand, but really just a lifestyle. We want the Bulls to be integrated into your life, whether you're out with your family, going to school, coming to the game. Last year we introduced a private label called 1966 that we sell at the United Center, with the goal being to create more affordable but trendy items for fans so that when you come to a game it's not just, I'll get the $20 name and number t-shirt. There's other things you can get to kind of show your fandom that's not just something you would wear to a game. Another thing that we do with retail is try to integrate it into kind of larger experience campaigns for our fans. So we recently launched our new Statement Edition jersey, which kind of brings back the tradition of the pinstripes, which a lot of people from Chicago feel nostalgia towards, they love it. So to bring it back, we kind of created this whole campaign to turn it into a game theme. So we not only have the jersey that will be worn on certain nights, we'll have fans coming to the games with different ticket packs, and when they're there, the whole game experience will be kind of statement-defied, if you will. Like, there'll be all different graphics, everything about the experience will kind of tie in the statement jersey. So here's just kind of a sample of what that looks like for us. Our job as a marketing team is to make sure that no matter what content you're looking at the end of the day, it's bringing you into our brand and you want to come back for more. There's always different things that you can do, whether it be purchasing something, bringing your family, or just being a fan. Now what I want to do a little bit, just since I'm a more recent graduate, I kind of want to just take you through just some of the tips that I've learned the past couple of years since graduating to kind of help you guys who are still students get your start with a sports team. So things that you can do while you're still in college, something that my director says all the time, which I think is very true, you have to like what you're doing, not just who you're doing it for. So for me, it's amazing to be back at my hometown team. I grew up loving the Bulls, but if I was just a Bulls fan, I would not be successful in my job. I'm only successful at it because I love branding, and being able to do that for my favorite team is just a nice bonus. While you're here in college, especially with events like this, it's really important to build your network and take advantage of the resources that you have at your disposal, especially through Dr. Rish and all the connections he has that he's kind of bringing for you guys to network with. Something it's such a small thing but can make a world of difference for you is keeping your application materials up to date. The number of times I have friends who've tried to apply for something and just missed the window because they were still updating their resume. Sports moves very quickly. If anything, you'll have up to maybe 2 weeks to apply for a job before it closes. So I would say make sure that you never miss out on an opportunity because you didn't finish applying. So always have your stuff ready to go in case someone has a connection or if there's a job you want to apply for, don't miss out on that opportunity. Something that I didn't really think about when I was in the business school was that I would be doing a ton of writing in a marketing role. So I would say definitely focus on your writing skills, proofread everything, just start paying attention to every sign you read, just kind of noticing trends, because in a marketing role, I would say I spend at least 50% of my time writing things. Something that I think is super important if you want to work for a sports team is to make sure you're open to relocation. I never in a million years thought I would move to Green Bay, Wisconsin, but I did it. It was great. Moved to LA, now back in Chicago. If you're not open to moving and working for teams outside of your home market, you're really limiting yourself on what you can do in sports. Another thing that I don't think I was prepared for coming out of WashU is that you will most likely have to take, if you want to work for a team, some sort of temporary position upon graduation. So I know a lot of my friends, they already had offers in, coming into senior year, they knew what they were doing, full-time role. That's just not how it works for a lot of sports. So kind of be prepared to take something that's like a full-time internship or associate position when you graduate, or a contract role, and eventually you will get that full-time opportunity if you put the work in. And another thing, I think it's really important to seek out opportunities that align with your career goals. Just because a job is with a sports team doesn't mean you should be doing it. If you're not passionate about it, it's not going to work for you. So if you want to do marketing, make sure you're trying to find roles that have at least some sort of marketing as part of it, whether it be partnership marketing, doing digital marketing, just something that you're doing that can show that you can make progress in that area. So once you kind of started your career in sports, the next thing that you need to do is just make sure that you're creating value for yourself. Like I said, a lot of your positions are probably going to be temporary when you started out. So if you're not showing that you're worth having, they're really not going to look into keeping you. There's plenty of people who want to intern for sports teams. You need to show that you personally can add value for them. No, these are out of order. It's okay. I'll just go follow them. It's really important with the season moving so quickly in sports that you create processes for efficiency. I know that was kind of what I took as a way to create value when I was in Green Bay. There were just so many projects going on, so I had to be the person to kind of collect everything and kind of streamline as many things as I could for our director to make it work for her. I think it was mentioned in one of the earlier presentations, but all these teams that are doing similar things, you can take ideas from other people. Like, I think when I worked for the NFL, that was the biggest takeaway, is that all the NFL teams kind of share ideas for what they can do on digital, what they can do on social. They're not competing with each other off the field, so it's really important to kind of look to each other for best practices. As you go throughout the basketball season, there's 82 games. It never ends, it feels like sometimes, but it's important to maintain your strategy. So throughout everything we do, we always make sure we're coming back to our With Us campaign, and like, does this tie to the campaign? Does this bring fans into the fold? Is it growing our fan base from youth all the way into adulthood? And along the same lines, making sure while you do that, you're still keeping that attention to detail, you're working on your writing, you're not making those silly errors. I know I do radio and TV drops for 82 games. So one day you might say the Pacers instead of the Pistons and something, and just little things like that. It's so important to make sure you're not making those mistakes. I think a lot of the time people talk about work-life balance when you come out of college. With sports, it's really just a lifestyle. So as much as you want to have that balance, you should like what you're doing enough that you can have that balance kind of not that much of the time, if you will. So I think just kind of plan to be at work. If you like what you're doing, it'll be worth it. And then eventually in life, you can maybe find that balance. And kind of like the Dolphins aren't a very successful team right now, the Bulls haven't been either. So it's really important to make sure that your brand success is not dependent on on-court or on-field performance. So no matter what, your fans should come away with a positive experience, whether it be from meeting Benny the Bull or enjoying the halftime show, or they just had a really great time with their family. It shouldn't depend on whether or not the team won. So yeah, that's all I got. If you guys are interested in working for the Bulls, we do have openings for kids who have graduated that are posted on Teamwork Online. So make sure you have an account set up if you are interested. It is just for people who graduated, but we do have year-long associate positions available. So yeah.
Thank you, Shana.